I've helped 97 guys in just the last 6 months alone get to the leanest body fat percentage they've ever been using a predictable and sustainable approach of something called metabolic priming. And in this video, I'm going to leak my blueprint to metabolic priming that every single one of my clients goes through. So my name's Adam Bono. I'm an online fat loss professional. I work with men around the world who've been struggling to get lean, stuck in fat loss plateaus to get to the leanest they've ever been, drop hundreds of pounds. So we have clients in our program that are down 100 pounds, and we have clients in our program that are six-pack shredded. And so quite literally, we work with guys all around the world, and using metabolic priming, we have found it to be not only the most sustainable, but the most predictable way to lose body fat for good, right? And so in this video, we're going to walk through the exact blueprint of how I do this with my clients. So using our metabolic priming blueprint, which is the outline that we use for our client's journey, one thing we do is we first get in is we want to know exactly what they've been doing. We do a data collection of the measurements, caloric output, caloric intake, goal setting. So what we're trying to explain right here is we're trying to get what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, how much calories they're inputting their body, how much caloric output in the form of cardio, maybe training, or how much they're currently doing, and so we get a clear explanation of where they're exactly at. And so the first thing we do is we set a start date for our clients. And during that process, we have them track their calories for the days leading up until their start date. And this is super important. One of the most important things in the entire program is we find out how much calories they're currently intaking per day. It's called a caloric intake maintenance assessment. And once we find how many calories that they're eating over the course of 3 to 4 days, we divide by how many days they track. So we get an average caloric estimate of what they've been intaking per day. And the first thing we do is we implement correct macronutrients, right? So setting macronutrients is one of the most important things about the entire program in general, because setting the correct macronutrients is going to have an immediate effect to how quickly our clients see progress. So one, we're getting the exact caloric amount to what they've already been eating, but we're getting them correct macros. And I'm going to explain to you the exact mechanism and the exact formula that I use for them. So let's say an ex-client comes to us at 2,000 calories. What we'll do is do the caloric intake maintenance assessment week, and we'll find out he's been eating right around 2,000 calories, and we'll give him a correct protein goal and a correct fat intake, right? So for most of our clients, when we give them the correct protein goal and fat goal, how we calculate that specifically is one, if a client's been severely under eating on protein, we make them start off with 1 gram per body weight of protein, starting right at 1 gram. Next, we use the data calculations of 0.4 times your body weight to find the correct fat intake. And once we have the protein and the fat goal, we backfill the rest to meet what you're already eating per day. We backfill the rest with carbohydrates. So one, we already have really good, macronutrients set in place. We have a calorie goal set in place that meets already what we're eating, but now we have structure. And our clients make extremely good progress really fast right off the bat because they're getting correct macronutrients specific to what they actually need. And one, with these current macronutrients, there's specifically a certain mechanism within each macromolecule that aids in the benefit of not only fat loss, but overall well-being. So protein, for instance, yes, it builds muscle, but it also has a high thermic effect, which means the more protein you eat, if you eat the correct amount of protein, the more your body burns in the form of the thermic effect of food. Right? So protein has a 30% thermic effect, so we make sure to at least get them at 1 gram per body weight. Next, with the fat intake is really important in the human body for maintaining hormone levels and for also maintaining digestion. It affects T3, T4, metabolism, thyroid, testosterone, and also, of course, digestion. So a lot of guys who come to us are overeating on fats and undereating on protein. And once we switch those around, they make a body recomposition very, very quickly. We have guys that lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds in the course of 1 to 2 weeks just because they have the correct macronutrients. A lot of great things happen very quickly when you get the correct macronutrients. And then we backfill the rest with carbs to meet what they're already eating per day. Right? And so now with the carbohydrates, one, your body is going to help utilize these carbohydrates for a couple specific reasons in the body. One, for mitigation of inflammation, also adrenal fatigue, but also supplying the brain with glucose to help the overall cosmetic and cognitive effect of how your mind works, right? Because glucose works in the brain. So as we start to get these correct macronutrients, though, a lot of times, and what people will do and where people go wrong is they'll immediately start lowering their calories. What we do is first of all optimize how your body's burning food in a metabolic priming phase. And how we do that specifically, we're going to take two scenarios, right? And I want you guys to tell me which one makes the most sense. So we start have a client that starts off with 200 calories, 2,000 calories, and they come to us and they want to lose a bunch of body fat. Great, right? Love that. What most people will do right off the bat, start a bunch of cardio and then lower the calories, right? So what they go from 2,000 to 1,900 to 1,800, from 20 minutes of cardio to 30 minutes of cardio to 40 minutes of cardio. And now you're diminishing how many calories that you work with. What we do specifically is we prime your body to burn food for you. And how we do that specifically is we utilize something called carbohydrate metabolism. So people think that carbohydrates, for instance, put body fat on your body. They don't. Only a minuscule amount of carbohydrates actually get stored as body fat because the body wants to primarily use it as fuel. So keeping the fat low and adding more carbohydrates, we can switch the body into more of a carbohydrate metabolism state, which allows the body to burn more carbohydrates at a higher rate, causing a very high incendiary effect in the body. There's tons of our clients that are up hundreds, 200, 300 grams of carbohydrates and down a ton of pounds. Why? Is because carbohydrates affect your essential body functions. And the most important thing and the most impactful way of how your body burns fuel is your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which makes up 60% of your metabolism. So when we start to give our clients more carbohydrates, their body starts to burn more food, right? And in this process, one, we can get the body to burn more food with carbohydrate metabolism, utilizing how the body burns carbohydrates, but we can also help with understanding the other areas of actually how the body burns food, right? Like the thermic effect of food, like exercise activity, like non-energy activity thermogenesis. And once you start to get more energy, one, your body starts to utilize these other buckets on how your body actually burns fuel. So we optimize exactly how the body actually burns food. We cut all cardio to a minimum, start with 10,000 steps, and then we start to work the calories up from there. And a lot of guys are super skeptical about this, saying like, how are you guys eating more food and losing more body fat? Well, I would like to show you all the clients that are currently up thousands of calories right here, 2,000 calories up per day, and absolutely lean. And more of our clients, 1,300 calories, 300 calories, 700 calories, 900 calories, 800 calories, 900, 800, 540, 1,200 calories, 900 calories. So, you can say that this process doesn't work, but you cannot say that these transformations aren't valid. And you can go through every single one of my case studies to show you how we exactly do it with metabolic priming and increasing the body's way of burning fuel, right? And so now as we start to optimize how the body burns food, start to increase the carbohydrates, start to get the body burning more food faster by manipulating the metabolism, staying a low intensity cardio like steps. We're able to prime the body. Because, for instance, why we have steps in my client's program is that steps are a form of low intensity cardio that's non-inflammatory on the human body that burns fat. So a lot of people get the misconception that the body only uses one substrate of fuel to burn food. It uses two separate forms of fuel to burn calories depending on your VO2 max, which is your overall heart rate. So the higher your heart rate is, the more your body burns carbohydrates. The lower the heart rate is, like a walking pace, the more your body burns fat. So your body quite literally burns 40% more fat at a low intensity state rather than at a HIIT cardio state or at a sprint or like anything that's above a certain rate of cardio intensity. So we start them off with 10,000 steps, no cardio, correct macronutrients, start working their calories up. So once we get to the metabolic priming phase, and a big question a lot of the clients has come to us is like, how do we know when we're ready to start the cut? Because the next process will be, we would go into a fat loss phase, right? So let's keep this into context. Now that, let's say X client comes to us at 2,000 calories, we cut all cardio, they're doing no cardio, we're just doing steps per day. We got them in a good training program to increase muscle tissue, which increasing muscle tissue will increase metabolism. Then we are getting to a certain amount of calories, and then we can start working back and adding cardio and lowering calories, right? But now, instead of going from 2,000 to 1,900, we can go from 3,000 or whoever the X client gets to us. And it's very individual specific. It depends on the actual client, how high we can get them in calories. We have clients that get all the way up to 3,700 and we got clients that get to 2,900. But that's specifically what me as a coach and the rest of our guys in the program do is we watch our clients' body compositions, and we can usually tell when we're at the peak of the metabolic priming phase within our clients. We can usually tell by the body composition and a little bit on the scale on the weight, on the weight on the scale. And so we call it. And then when we call it, we flip them over into a fat loss phase, which we're decreasing calories and we're increasing cardio, right? And during this process, we do the exact same thing where we start to lower calories, increase cardio every week they check in. One of the most important things that we're doing with every single one of these clients is we are checking in with them weekly and dynamically updating their macronutrients and a protocol based upon the progress they're making. A lot of guys who get stuck in fat loss plateaus get stuck don't have an update to the program that they're having. Why it's important to have an updating program, because that's how you don't hit a plateau. If you're doing the same thing that you did to lose initial 20 pounds, then obviously you're going to get stuck at a certain point. So you need a dynamically updating protocol in the form of macronutrients and training, but also making sure a dynamically updating, cardio regimen as well. So fat loss phase, we add lower calories until weight comes stagnant. And this is more of like our coaching action decisions just based upon like what we see as coaches, how our clients are feeling. We have them check in with, how many days they hit their macronutrients, how many days they did their training, how they feel, total energy, hunger. And so we can basically update their macronutrient protocol based on a ton of different data, ton of different KPIs and metrics that allow us to manipulate their program to helping them lose more body fat, right? And so now let's say that, on the high level form of things, client comes to us, we give them macronutrients, we work the calories up to 3,000 from 2,000, drop them back down to 2,000. Now they're down, let's say even 100 pounds. Now what do we do, right? Now what do we do when client has came to us and lost 100 pounds and how we make this sustainable? So first of all, the biggest process of how our clients make sustainable progress is the actual aspects they learn during this process. And what I mean by that is that they start to create routines within themselves. They start to understand nutrition because we don't use specific meal plans. We teach our clients how to track macros and use flexible dieting to their advantage. If there's this client, we have clients that are, go on client luncheons. We have clients that travel a lot. We have pilots all across the world. And we utilize tracking macros to have a more flexible approach of tracking macros, right? And so they start to learn cognitively how nutrition works, what protein, carbs, and fats are in certain foods. And that information right there is what keeps people longevity-wise healthy and sustainable. The actual education is where it lies. And a lot of nutritionists, a lot of online programs, they won't actually teach you what you need education-wise, and that's the reason why you keep being, self-dependent on trainers, on coaches. So what we do differently is we like to teach our clients. We have to teach them the education process, because once they understand, once they learn, that's how you keep it off, right? And so when you do get to the goal physique, what we do first is we actually use metabolic priming once more to get your food back up by getting your body to burn more fuel, and so we can get to a more comfortable mechanism. The body's not supposed to be under 2,000 calories. It doesn't want to be under 2,000 calories. Once we get all the body fat off, like for instance, like one of our guys, Phil here, who's lost 100 pounds, we can kind of go back to him right here. Where he's at right now, he lost 100 pounds, and we actually work calories back in and make sure that our body's now burning fuel properly before he was just stop the program, or so we can be more flexible. So when we do get to our goal physique, one, we prime the metabolism once more so we can eat 225 to 3,000 calories rather than trying to stay within a certain calorie amount, very highly restrictive of 2,000 or below. Eating 2,000 calories, if you're listening to this right now, is not healthy and it's not sustainable. What you want is to understand how your metabolism works so your body can burn more food, because your metabolism does not slow when you get older. What happens is you start to become less active, food industries become more saturated. There's a scientific study that's done that even at 90 years old, your metabolism only degrades about 15 to 20%. So you do not have a slower metabolism. You are just less active and you're eating more. So you're understanding how to actually track macronutrients and how to utilize nutrition is the most important aspect that we utilize in our program. So when we get to our goal physique, the thing that keeps the fat off in the sustainability is one, like they have better health, and this is what we call the life after funnel. They have sustainable results, nutritional knowledge, so huge, nutritional knowledge. And the results are confidence, dating, longevity, discipline, look good, feel good. And all of these aspects make up the actual results, the who you become after. Because once you start to learn nutrition, once you start to see immense amount of progress, you are going to see changes in your life in the form of better finances, better relationships from doing this whole program in general. Because like I said, we teach a lifestyle. We teach a sustainable, maintainable lifestyle. We don't tell our clients they can't eat X. We don't tell them they can't go out to eat with their wives. We don't tell them they can't go on vacation. We make fat loss as easy as possible, because the easier it is, the more sustainable it is. And once it gets easy, you start to understand how easy it really is when you start to understand the actual mechanism that's going to help you sustain there. And that's what we teach every single one of our clients that goes through every single one of our programs. And this is not only the most beneficial way to lose body fat by using metabolic priming, the blueprint that we've created around it, but it also helps because now our clients understand the education of nutrition, the education of exercise science, how their body utilizes certain macronutrients. And it works time and time again. And, the results speak for themselves. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't want to be someone on social media who just wants to be right all the time. I just want to help people, right? And this process has yet to ever do us wrong. We've went through, almost 100 people in the last 6 to 8 months within this program, and it's been the most sustainable and easy way to get lean and to get six-pack abs, lose 100 pounds, because it's an actual roadmap to success. It's actually a step-by-step process of how you utilize your body and the way it burns food, how you utilize actually burning calories within mechanistic properties of BMR, total energy of food, thermic effect of food, non-energy activity thermogenesis, and all of the rest. So this is not only the most sustainable, but the easiest approach to fat loss known to man, and that's why our clients are so successful, and that's why our program is one of the most trending programs on the internet right now, alongside the actual community aspect of what's involved with the program, right? Our clients, what they do is they're involved in an actual community of like-minded men that's currently doing it with them, right? And that's a very key aspect to overall environment, is to have these clients surrounded by other clients that are currently trying to lose fat, trying to get better shape, trying to get shredded. And that community aspect is what the motivation is about, being surrounded by a group of guys who just want to see a better version of themselves. And, I've heard multiple times how impactful the community is. And so we are super proud of the amazing community that we've built and the very high and fast-paced up-and-coming community that we've built within the program. And so, with that being said, if you are struggling to get lean and you are, tired of using non-sustainable approaches like keto, carnivore, these diets, these nutritionists that don't give you the time of day, and you want an actual program that not only has sustainable results, has the history of predictable results, but is also going to leave you in a better position than you found you, and be surrounded by hundreds of guys trying to do the exact same thing with 24/7 access to all of the coaches to answer any questions at any time of the day, go ahead and sign up to our time down below. There's going to be an application link. Would love to see you on there and would love to change your life. We don't accept everybody into the program. We are a community designed off in not only having clients that represent our program well, but having clients that are motivated, have clients that are want to see a better version of themselves or trying to reach the higher version of themselves. And so if that sounds like you and you're a hard-ass working guy, you're motivated as hell, sign up for a town down below. We'd love to see you. We'll walk through the program with you. We'll take you step by step what it looks like. And if it's a great fit for you and you think we're the guys to help you out, go up and sign out down below, and we'll see you on the call.